'Tis I. Hey everyone, glad to see you back, glad to see you looking fresh, and today I want to talk about one of my favorite times of the year. E3 season has come and gone, and while, of course, E3 proper doesn't really exist anymore, the spirit of the season is alive and well in many different events all scattered throughout the industry. And today I want to talk about my favorite game announcements, reveals, and this is a series I do every year where I talk about my new favorites that come out, games that were freshly revealed, and this year I'm going to include games that I'm sure a couple of them have been revealed before, but if they're new to me, I'm going to include them, because if I didn't get a chance to talk about them then, I'm not going to get a chance to talk about them now. And these are all games that I do plan on playing, so it's not just like I bundled 20 games that like, okay, these seem mildly interesting, I'll put them in a list together. These are games that I'm very excited to talk about, very excited to play, and without further ado, let's just jump into the games. So we'll start, of course, with PlayStation with Astro Bot. This being the only game from that presentation that was new and exciting to me. Astro Bot, of course, is a follow-up to Astro's Playroom, which was a pack-in title on the PlayStation 5, an absolute winner of a pack-in title, one of the best ever. It's just a very pleasant, like 4-ish hour experience. It's a 3D platformer. You get to run down the history of PlayStation, and they seem to be taking that concept, expanding it out into a full game. I'm very, very excited. I see this as basically the equivalency of like when Wii Sports got a sequel in Wii Sports Resort. And Wii Sports Resort was one of my favorite games on that console. So I'm really hoping that Astro Bot can become a huge icon out of this. I actually have a whole video planned talking about Astro Bot and Astro as itself. So I won't spoil too much of that here, but I will say I'm very excited for this game. Next up, we have LEGO Horizon Adventures. It's weird because this game wasn't a part of Sony Showcase, it was a part of Summer Game Fest proper. And this is a weird game. I heard rumors that this game was coming out, rumblings that it was going to be announced at Summer Game Fest, and I didn't believe it existed. I knew that LEGO and Horizon had worked before because there's play sets of them, but that's true with plenty of video games. But this is the first time that a video game has been adapted into LEGO, and I'm not sure exactly, like, the point? Not to be mean, but I'm very, very interested in it, because I like LEGO games a lot, even though this one isn't being developed by TT Games, and I like the Horizon world well enough, so combining the two, I don't know, are we going to play through the story of the first two games? Is it a side story? I'm excited to see like more about this going forward, and hearing people's thoughts as it comes out. Civilization 7. Now this was my favorite reveal at Summer Game Fest, the proper show. I am a big fan of Civilization. I've been playing Civilization 5 since I got it. I have all the DLC. Civilization 6, not as much. Civ 6 I think is a little bit like too balanced. I say it a lot, where none of the actual Civs feel different enough from other ones, if that makes sense. I like the different like ways to win the game and all that stuff, and there's obviously more strategy in Civ 6 and Civ 5, but Civ 5 is just a super strong experience that I'm excited to see what Sid Meier cooks up for Civ 7. Obviously with a game like this, it's all about strategy and just adding more to it, and I just hope a ton of more stuff is added. I mean, not to say that there's not plenty in Civ 5 and Civ 6, like I put hundreds of hours into those games, so very, very excited to see where they go with this next. Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. This is the last game to talk about from the actual Summer Games Fest show. This was like teased before the actual game was shown off, because like Terry and Mai are coming to Street Fighter 6, which that's a really cool crossover anyways. Because I don't think ever has, in a proper Street Fighter game, has there been a crossover. So that's super awesome. But, of course, they're getting their own game. I don't know if Mai is in this or not. I know Terry, of course, is in Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. I don't know a ton about, like, the SNK universe. I played King of Fighters. The whole Fatal Fury City of the Wolves thing, I know, is his own beast. Like, Terry doesn't look how you kind of think he does. If you played Smash, if you saw the reveal of Street Fighter 6, like, he doesn't look like that. He has a completely different outfit, completely different attire. So I'm interested to see where this goes. Like, the gameplay seems fun, it seems flashy, it seems entertaining, and that's what I want in a fighting game. Day of the Devs kicks off with Pedal Runner, and this was a really, really cool, like, I say Game Boy inspired aesthetic. It's an RPG about delivering pets to people. A game like this lives and dies on like its charm, its entertainment value, and this game seems to have that in spade. I was immediately blown away by how cute, how funny it seemed to be, and I'm very excited to check this game out. Day of the Devs really surprised me with how many games I was interested in. I'm only going to talk about 2 here, though, because I'm like dead set on getting them, but I was very surprised the very first time I watched that show, and I was very entertained, and this was the one that kicked it off. And the other one of that show was UFO 50, which I know has been announced before, but I had not heard of it until watching it here. And this game seems incredible. It's 50 games, and they're not mini games. They're like smaller games, sure, but some of them I'm sure are like a few hours to experience, where the whole idea is like, what if there was a console back in like the NES, SNES era that all these games came out on, like 50 games from this company UFO, and now we're bundling them in like a package deal that you can get on modern consoles. That's like the idea of this game. Like, these games obviously never existed, but they could have, you know, and they make these old school games with like new school ideas, and it just seems like a ton of work, a ton of passion, a ton of love went into this, and I was floored by the idea that 50 games are being made for this one game. It's a steal of a deal. I'm absolutely gonna pick this one up. I'm very excited for this one. Doom, The Dark Ages, kicked off the Xbox showcase, which was amazing. Very well. I am a big fan of the new Doom games. I am so looking forward to a Doom game set in the Dark Ages. It's like, Doom has already been compared to like a heavy metal cover art, and they just like cranked that part of it up more. Like, I don't know how much more rad they can make these games, but they figured out a way to keep making them cooler. Like, if you haven't played the new Doom games, they're just octane, like action, killing demons. Like, it's just pure fun. I enjoyed 2016 more than Eternal. Some people the other way around. I imply you to play both of them because they're both great, but I am absolutely gonna be picking this one up when I can. Life is Strange Double Exposure. I went to play the first Life is Strange game, and I think this is a sequel directly to that. I really liked it. I really had a great time with it. It was a very emotional journey, and hanging out with that character again, the main character of the first game, and just being able to see where her story goes further on than what, you know, that first game ends on a weird split thing, so I assume one of them is canon now, and the other one is like a side, but like, you know, that's the whole point of that game, is like different timelines and how butterfly effects can affect things, so hey, they have to pick one to make a sequel. And I'm excited to see where it goes, because like I said, I really liked the first one. I should try out more in this series, but I'm really looking forward to another one of her. I believe her name is Max. I'm really excited to see where Max's story goes. Gears of War E-Day was the topper of the Xbox showcase, and I've never been a super big Gears of War guy, but even I can admit when something is very exciting to the world of gaming. Like, Gears of War has been kind of silent for a little while, and finally getting to see more of Marcus Phoenix, because it's a prequel to the first game, I believe. Like I said, I don't know much about the lore of Gears of War, so I don't even know what E-Day really is. I assume it's a pretty big deal, but, you know, I've been wanting and needing to go back and just play them, because I own, like, the trilogy on the 360. I've only played, like, half of the first game, so I need to go back and just, like, play them. Pick up 4, pick up 5, and then catch myself up. I don't think they're very long games, but I just need to do it. So I'm excited. This might be the game that like pushes me to go and finish and like run with this franchise. So A+ to that. And with all this hype and everything, there was a lot of littler showcases. Marvelous had one that didn't really show anything. Of course, Ubisoft had one, but they didn't really show anything new either. But Yacht Club Games had one, and they showed off one thing that I want to include here. That's Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope DX. Now this is basically just a repackaging of all the Shovel Knight DLCs and a bunch of new stuff included in. But Shovel Knight is such a great game. It's such an incredible little franchise in and of itself. Like it has a couple spin-offs, there's Pocket Dungeon and stuff like that. But this one, including all the DLC on a disc, is awesome. Like they said themselves, like they want to do this for preservation's sake, and I'm all for that. It's been a long time since I played Shovel Knight. I played it back on the Wii U. They said it's been 10 years. I don't think I played it the year it came out. I think I probably played it 2015, so even then it's 9 years ago. But I love to pick up Shovel Knight again and play it on the PS5 maybe. If you haven't played Shovel Knight, maybe wait for this one, because I haven't played the other parts. Like I know there's the Spectre Knight and the King's Knight, and there's a Plague Knight, I think it is, are the ones that have their own games too. I haven't played those, so those will be new to me. But if you haven't played Shovel Knight at all, then maybe wait for this, but absolutely play it at some point. Alright, and then of course Nintendo showed up with the biggest event of the season somehow. We expected nothing because the Switch is on its last legs, but they showed up with bangers left and right. They started, so I'll start with Mario and Luigi Brothership. Mario and Luigi games are very special kind of RPG. Not a lot of RPGs quite like them. They're very funny, they're very cute, and of course you play with Mario and Luigi, and you go through the Mushroom Kingdom, and you get to see characters in that universe, and a lot of people love these games a lot. I've only played the original Superstar Saga. I played it as a kid, I replayed it as a teenager, and then I played Inside Story. So I haven't played the rest of them. People have mixed opinions on some of them, so I was just kind of staying away. Even I can say that this game seems extraordinarily interesting, and I'm very excited for fans of this franchise. Even though I'm not a super fan, I'm going to pick this one up because this one seems awesome. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D. Of course, we knew Dragon Quest 3 was getting the HD 2D treatment, and it was very cool to see more about that. But we did not know that 1 and 2 were getting the same treatment. They're going to come out a year later, because apparently the third Dragon Quest is the first chronologically, which is fine. It doesn't seem weird for me to play Dragon Quest 3 and then play Dragon Quest 1 and 2. But I haven't played any of these Dragon Quests. I played 11, and that's been it. So getting to experience Eric's story is awesome. I was very surprised. I expected them to be yeah, you can just play 1 and 2, or it's going to include 1 and 2 on the disc or card or whatever. But then they were oh, we're remastering those two. We're remaking those in the HD2D. I was what? No wonder this game is taking so long to come out. So that's very, very exciting, especially for Dragon Quest fans, RPG fans. I love this art style, so I'm very excited to play these. What would be the capper, if not for one other announcement, but I'll definitely, everyone's talking about it, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, a new Zelda game, a Zelda game this year. We play as Zelda. It has the Link's Awakening remake art style, which I love. It's so cute, and you can do so much with it, and they're doing a lot with it. They're what if Zelda can just copy things and just use it to solve puzzles and combat, and it takes that idea that Tears of the Kingdom have, where it's yeah, you can use the world around you however you want to solve things. So we put it in a 2D sphere, and we use magic as Zelda, and I'm so excited. I was not expecting a new Legend of Zelda, absolutely, this year. I was expecting maybe a remaster, a port or something, but a wholly new one, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy, especially for a console, like I said, that's on its way out. I was not expecting something like this, but of course, I'm extraordinarily excited for more Zelda. And of course, I will mention it. Metroid Prime 4 is not. Let's quickly mention it. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, I'm excited. I've known about it for 7 years, it feels like. I can only be excited for so long for Metroid Prime until we saw gameplay, which is great. Until I know the day it's coming out, the systems it's coming out, because I feel like it's going to come out on Switch too. I'm not going to hype myself up too much about it. And that's all I'll say about that. But the big one for me, and for a lot of people, I feel like some people may have skipped over it because they don't understand the importance, the background, the story of this game, why it's so big that it's coming out. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection is a monumental achievement in what fans can accomplish with speaking with like their dollars, I feel like. And that's not even like the whole story, but that is part of it. I feel like maybe the last Capcom collection where I put all the Darkstalkers may have contributed to this. I feel like the fan outcry to release Marvel vs. Capcom 2 like forced, not maybe not forced, but inspired these companies to get together and like, all right, let's do it. Let's make sure that this game can exist on modern consoles. People can play these games that they love, and not only just Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but a ton of Marvel and Capcom crossovers. Like there's, of course, there's Street Fighter and X-Men, and there's the first Marvel vs. Capcom, and there's the ton. There's like 7 games. There's a Punisher beat 'em up that I hadn't even heard of before. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 like could have been by itself. Like when they were doing the whole direct thing and it said "Take you for a ride," showed a picture of Ryu. I was like, wait. I like kind of paused myself. I was so excited. I cannot over exaggerate how excited I am that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 like is back and available to be played on modern consoles, because like any other version to play this game is inferior. The Dreamcast version is like so archaic, and I don't believe it's the full game. And then like the PS2 version isn't as good, but again, that's like hundreds of dollars to play. And then of course like the digital version doesn't exist anymore. So you could play it in an arcade still, but then that's like, does your arcade have it? Not all arcades have it. And then like my arcade like changed the cabinet to it, so the button layout wasn't correct. I say my arcade, the one that's like 2.5 hours away from me, even then, like changed it so the button layout was incorrect, which that stunk. But man, I'm just excited. The idea of just being able to like own it on a disc, put it in a console, and just play it. Baffling to me. That still doesn't feel real to me. But I hope all of you check it out. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one of the best games, period. Well, obviously one of the best fighting games, but it's one of the best games of all time. It's incredible. I love it. So many other people love it for a reason. And that's why it's my final game I'm talking about here, because it's so exciting. But what was your favorite announcement in all of this E3 season? Summer Games Fest, Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, maybe something from Ubisoft, maybe something from Marvelous. I don't know. There's been a ton of stuff coming out, but by all means, let me know. Maybe something during the Wholesome Games. Nothing really spoke to me that much, but I always love watching that show. I love shouting them out. But that'll about do it for me today. Thank you so very much for watching. And as always, like this if you like this, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you at some point.